Hey y'all, Will here, otherwise Zelray, and today in Once Human I want to go over the new event that released earlier, H37's Unstable S Vessel. It's about deviation cultivations. Not only that, but I do want to go over some things that have just been really recent news that I feel are important for people who are interested in the development of this game and talking about a few things that they've been mentioning. But getting into the first topic at hand, it's going to be about these deviations. As you can see, I've already collected quite a few of the nutcrackers behind me, and while that is fun and all, the important thing isn't the nutcrackers here. If we go over to our regular event, and we go over to the event itself, we can see that we can gain these cultivation essences, and by collecting more and more, we get more chances. Standard gotcha procedure. You can go to the task center, see that you have plenty of tasks to do weekly, and also seasonally. These all get you more of these vessels, and you can collect them pretty easily. As you use them, you start collecting more and more deviants, which you can see in your field guide. You're always going to be able to unlock a rare deviation at some point just by going through that. We can tell that if you press escape, go back to the main menu. Rare deviations guaranteed after 15 more times. This was something like 30 or more previously. I can't remember the exact number. There's going to be 1 rare, 3 specials, and 5 normals in this case. These numbers may change. As you can see, if you collect 8 out of the 9 different types, you can get an avatar frame from this event and also a name card. This is all fine and dandy, but the very important part about this is that this page exists. This is a great teaser, for me at least, as a collector. Deviations unknown. New deviations will continuously join our future cultivation plans. That means that this event is not a one and done, and Nutcracker will not be the specific thing that we're going for. Later on, we may get other territory, crafting, or combat deviations that will be allowed to have multiple different types. And this is really cool to me. For 2 reasons. First off, while I don't have the deviation here, there is a special extra dimensional cat that has a variation called Moon Diamond. It has a very interesting perk for a territory deviation. When recovering energy while dormant, it has a 20% chance to restore 15 deviant power to other territory deviations. And that is crazy because if you have multiple different deviations with that, while it rests, all your other deviations gain more and more deviant power, which means they can stay out longer. Now, if it was a combat deviation, finding something even as simple as something that the Marine Star has from the Festering Gel, when synced, each reload gives you either a 5% weapon damage bonus or a 5% status damage bonus at random. Things like that can really add up. And if we get deviations for different builds, such as if you're a Jaws build, you really want to use the Shattered Maiden. If you're a Frost build of any sort, you really want to use the Polar Jelly. These are things that can really, really make a build stand out. And also you have something fun to throw out whenever you're in combat. I really like that they're going that way about it. And not only that, if you do pay attention to the dev notes and news in the Discords, or Discord rather, but the multiple channels of the Discord, they did state something on August 10th. I'm just going to read this out for you. Enhancing weaker deviations. Many players have expressed interest in fusing or upgrading weaker deviations into more powerful ones. Let that sink in for a second. Fusing or upgrading weaker deviations into more powerful ones. This feature is a key component of the game's next stage and is currently in the planning phase, aka they're working on it. We will keep you updated as our plans develop. And they stated this before we got the new season, but pretty much what that means is that we can keep these deviations, such as Nutcracker, and roll them into a stronger deviation. Now, what's cool about these Nutcrackers, they're all 3 3s, which means they're a pretty stable level already, and we can combine multiple ones of these to be able to get a terrifying 5/5 Nutcracker that's about as useful as it is in real life of standing on a shelf because it doesn't do anything worthwhile. But If it comes to the place of a combat deviation or deviation that a build can use, this event can really bring to light a fun example of what there is to be. On to the next thing at hand. We have the new battle pass being announced, the White Knight Rose. And with the White Knight Rose, I've been seeing a couple images pop up, but probably the most relevant image I've seen pop up has been a nice white tuxedo with a red rose, and also a very nice female outfit. If these are the outfits that we can unlock through this battle pass, I'm going to be super stoked. However, it's essentially hearsay at the moment. The image does provide some compelling persuasion, though, for it being the case. The battle passes in general, the first battle pass we got, I did not enjoy the presentation and how it felt playing through it. It felt like it was pretty much non-existent, and while I like the cosmetics and I like the idea behind it, it seemed to go away so quick and not be something prevalent as a seasonal battle pass typically is. I really hope that they lengthen them a bit and make them feel a little bit more powerful in the sense of like you're really working towards it. I don't know if I am alone in that opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think on potential fixes for how the battle pass played out if you did get it yourself. I myself will be getting them because I want to support the game and make sure it can do as well as I can help it do through purchases. And that brings us to the next topic. Once Human and Starry Studios has announced their third Lightforge loot crate, the Freezing Mist. Now, I will say that the first loot crate that they did bring out was actually very, very cool. And if I had extra play money, I would definitely throw more money at it just to support the company. However, the second loot crate that they brought out, I was not a fan of at all. And I think a lot of other people weren't as well. Now, I see plenty of people are buying them, but I did not feel any compulsion to even want to spend a single dime on it. It just wasn't my style. And I don't know how long these loot crates will last in rotation, but we're having the third one, Freezing Mist, coming out. And I think this will probably be released near Way of Winter's release, which is roughly a month and a half away at this point, and maybe a little bit later than that. And I will say that Once Human does need to make money, even though it is a free-to-play game. It is not a game about charity and just giving people everything so that they don't feel compelled to spend money. They need to be paying all their salaries that they can as efficiently as possible. So I get it. They need to have these loot crates, and we're probably going to see a lot of them pretty soon after one another so that people have the opportunity to spend money and support the company. They did release in a recent interview with Derek, being Bonderick on Discord, that they are looking to hire near 100 more people into Starry Studios to work on development on Once Human. That brings the total group from 300 some individuals to 400 some individuals, and that requires more and more money. If you're curious about reading into that interview, I will link it below. It's kind of flown below the radar for a lot of people, I've noticed, even other content creators. So it would be a good thing that people have that at their own arsenal to kind of have source information about things that might be happening in the future in Once Human. This interview that I'm talking about specifically happened during Gamescom 2024. Beyond the battle pass and beyond this loot crate, one thing that they didn't mention yet is anything about Halloween. Now, White Knight Rose does have a little implication within Halloween, but I don't know if it's going to be fully encompassing because I think it's going to take a different look. It's going to be more vampiric, maybe. I have a feeling it's going to be vampires. It has a very heavy Castlevania vibe. It has the bats. It has that potential skin we looked at. But Halloween's right around the corner, and I would really love to see something beyond just here's a couple skins for Halloween. And please don't give us loot crates that we open up for cards again. While it was a interesting type of mechanic, I would have loved it have more impact and we had to actually fight the creatures that we were trying to get cards from, so it felt like we were hunting them rather than just a random pinata of cards and we didn't really have any choice in how to target farm them. Now, that is just my opinion, and while I have made sure to put my opinion into the Discord and through the surveys whenever I have the opportunity to. I think everyone else should be doing that just as much as well if you really want to see the game prosper. I got on a little side note there at the end, but that's pretty much the video. I went over the Deviation Cultivation through the Cultivation Essences, the new Battle Pass, the new Loot Crate, and talked a little bit about maybe a Halloween event, which I'd love to hear what you'd love to see in an event in Once Human. There's plenty of ideas out there, but I would just like to hear what some of you guys are thinking on that. I think it'd be a cool thing to do. And I also have another video coming out real soon about some things that Once Human has been saying they have been noticing people haven't been liking, and some of their fixes, so you can see their thought process on that as well. With that though, thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. Later.